Perfect. Thank you so much, Jeff, for that introduction, and thank you for getting us started today. Also want to say thank you to everyone who, as Jeff said, is joining us from around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Very excited to kick this off and very glad to be here. So thank you, Amazon, for the invite. I am Matt McGrory, Director of Strategic Enterprise Accounts at Pacvue. So Pacvue is a commerce acceleration platform designed for brands, sellers, and agencies to have the tools, resources, and insights they need to win in commerce, especially during these key drive periods and tentpole events like Prime Day. Today, as we kick off this Prime Day 2024 summit, like Jeff said, I'm sure all of us on this webinar today working in this industry know how quickly Prime Day can catch up to you and how there's always some tentpole event right around the corner. So these tips and tricks we're going to discuss today about tailoring your cross-product full funnel strategy, they are designed to talk about Prime Day, which we don't know the exact dates in July this year, but it's coming very soon, can be applied to not only Prime Day, but some of the other key tentpole events to make sure that you're putting yourself or your clients in a position to have the best possible success during these key drive periods. We have a packed agenda today, so I will move fairly quickly through this content. Before I get started, if anyone has any questions about anything I covered today, please open offer. Please feel free to find me on LinkedIn, shoot me a quick email, ask any questions you may have, because we'd love to help find ways to have Pacvue or any other tech providers we could recommend in the industry help you succeed during Prime Day. I'm going to kick things off with some quick past Prime Day learnings to ground ourselves in what we can expect this July again. We'll then move into that cross-product full funnel approach to make sure that you have a good strategy heading into the event to be reaching your customers at multiple touch points in their purchasing journeys, both before, during, and after the event. That will segue into a focus on two key periods that some advertisers sometimes neglect that are very critically important to long-term success on Amazon, which is the lead in and lead out periods. And then we'll finish with some really quick tips, tricks, and tools to make sure that you have the greatest possible success during this Prime Day and beyond. Moving quickly into past Prime Day learnings, I could go through charts and KPIs and tell you how much you can expect to see cost per click increase or what impact that may have on ROAS. But I think we're all fairly aware of the fact that competition increases and brands really and advertisers, they need to be prepared to adjust quickly. So in general, when we think about past Prime Day learnings and what we've learned at Pacvue working with our thousands of clients around the globe really boils down to five main things. First and foremost, like Jeff said, prepare early, but don't panic. We have plenty of time. So make sure that you are really taking advantage of that lead-in period and building awareness for your brands and products well before the actual events of the 2 days of Prime Day itself. One really strong recommendation that we have is launch any new campaigns that you want for either promoted or non-promoted products that you would like to advertise during the event at least 4 weeks before the event to make sure you're building that relevancy and engagement for those products. The core content of this presentation is going to be point number 2, investing in the full funnel. So we have quite a bit of data at Pacvue that, Amazon, I think, also believes in this theory of the full funnel approach, making sure you're speaking to customers at multiple different places. Our data shows that customers who are exposed to a sponsored TV, DSP, and sponsored ads or search ads are more than 10 times likelier to purchase and convert on one of your products versus only seeing a sponsored product ad. So if you have the budget to facilitate this and take advantage, we really strongly recommend taking advantage of the full funnel. Number 3, have a plan. Sounds super basic, but the main point here is, again, as Jeff mentioned, make sure that you're aligning with your teams at least 2 weeks before the event on sales goals, KPI thresholds, and what you can expect. Points 3 and 4, are very closely related. So have a plan and be flexible really boils down to reacting quickly, shopping the site, and then especially having pre-approved budget thresholds or incremental budget you can deploy during the event if competition or demand is higher than expected, which we have seen time and time again. And then finally, another thing that I'll focus on today is learn quickly using all of the wonderful, rich data sources that Amazon provides, like AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud, Amazon Stream, which is wonderful hourly data, and rapid retail analytics. Last slide here before we move into our next section is a quick case study on just the theory of being flexible and being able to deploy incremental budgets during the event itself using real-time data like Stream. So we have 2 brands here in a highly competitive category, and these 2 brands within their category were the top 2 market share position holders. Brand 1 was a Pacvue client. Brand 2 was not a Pacvue client. So this is not a shameless plug for Pacvue, just mainly designed to show really the strong results you can drive by being flexible during the event. So quick parameters of this case study and what we found here. Brand one was at pre-approved budgets. They were ready to go, but they did have those thresholds where they had incremental budget pre-approved by their leadership teams to deploy on a moment's notice. Using stream data and Pacvue data, they were able to see that their main competitor, brand two, was running out of budget early in the day on Prime Day 1 over the 2-day event. They were able to deploy that budget very quickly, react quickly, and because of that quick thinking and having pre-approved budget, they were able to grow their Amazon share of shelf by nearly 300% in a very short period of time. This brand one, is still a Pacvue client, and our data shows that they have actually sustained this both from a paid and organic perspective over the course of months and years. So it really goes to show how being flexible during a key drive period can really drive long-term results. Next up, we'll move into the full funnel approach and just talk a little bit more about how advertisers can use all of the different search products and search tactics to bring customers into your brand funnel and move them down towards conversion and loyalty. So like I said before, wanted to start off this full funnel discussion by just really grounding ourselves in how powerful the full funnel approach can be to driving results. So based on first-party Pacvue data, we see that our advertisers are more than 10 times likelier to drive a conversion and win a customer when they are deploying ads in all different parts of the funnel, which I'll get into in the next 2 slides. So goes without saying, if you can take advantage, please do. There's so many great ad products and ad tactics that Amazon has deployed and given advertisers access to reach customers, engage them, and then convert them to purchase and make them a lifelong customer. The next 2 slides are going to talk about the actual full funnel approach itself and which ad products and targeting tactics to use. So I won't go line by line here, but the main takeaway here is that Amazon has given advertisers so many different products and ways to advertise their items and their brands to reach customers both on and off-site. Like Jeff mentioned, sponsored TV is considered traditionally a more upper funnel tactic. It's something that Amazon is investing heavily in and always providing more data and more resources to not only reach your customers in a very rich streaming format, but to make sure that you are doing so in a very targeted manner to highly engage your customers. Moving down the funnel for DSP, both on and off-site ads, DSP is always evolving and always giving advertisers more tools to target and engage their customers more effectively, to then be able to then engage them again with tools like sponsored display, sponsored brands, and sponsored products. All these ad types here could be, moved up or down the funnel, but this is generally how we at Pacvue think about using all these different ad types. And when used successfully and paired with data sources like AMC or Amazon Stream, it really gives you best in class, best in industry ability to engage with your customers and provide the best CX possible. Really quickly, we'll finish up here with just campaign flighting. So when you have those advertising products and tactics, next question is how and when do I deploy them? This will depend on your unique brand, product category, and your unique goals, but we generally think of upper funnel tactics being more of a lead-in period to generate brand awareness and excitement for your products before the event. And then as we move down the funnel into tactics like a sponsored brands or sponsored products ad, we tend to think of that as more during event or lead out period to make sure that after you've engaged your customers, you've introduced them to your brands or products before or during the event, you can then engage them again and convert to purchase, potentially drive things like subscribe and save and create a long-term loyal customer for your brand during the event. Next, we'll move into lead in versus lead out strategies, because as we found over the past few years, it's really not just the 2 days of Prime Day anymore. It's really the weeks before and after, giving advertisers a huge opportunity to drive long-term results. So first, before I jump into specific recommendations and tactics, I want to talk a little bit about how you can think about pacing your budget over the weeks before, during, and after these tentpole events. So when you are deciding on what budgets to set and how to flow your budget out over the timeline, first, consider historical metrics, both for your entire product category and your specific brands and products. Make sure you're ramping up early and gradually. Don't do it all at once, to make sure that you're learning over time using those rich data sources like AMC to make sure that you are keeping track of your KPIs to make sure that it is matching your plan, and then you have the budget and you have the strategy ready to go for the 2 big days of the event itself. Make sure you have a lead out plan. Amazon always tells advertisers that it's not just the 2 days of the event, it's before and after. And we really could not agree more. In my personal opinion, I think lead out period, the 2 to 6 weeks after the event, is a huge opportunity and a really critically important time period for advertisers to re-engage customers and make sure that they're not just spending all their time on 2 days, but really having a longer term strategy. And then finally, pair your budget and bid competitiveness based on your promotions, if you have promotions or if you don't. And then make sure you're using a budget calendar with things like day parting or any automation resources enabled like with a tech partner like Pacvue to make sure that you are not having to do everything manually and allowing yourself to spend more of your time focusing on strategy. Next 3 slides will be lead in tips and tricks, during event tips and tricks, and then lead out. And then we'll move into the tools, tips, and tricks in general to use and what you can use and have at your disposal to have the best Prime Day possible. So when advertisers think about the lead in period, we really recommend they think about 4 main things. First and foremost, have a pre-event checklist and make sure that you're aligning with your team well ahead of time, finalizing your deals, your promos, making sure that you know exactly what items will and will not be promoted and potentially have higher demand or higher visibility, and launch any new campaigns necessary to support them. Moving down to the bottom left, complete your pre-event checklist. I know it sounds super basic, but I cannot tell you how many times this has helped me in the past just to keep me and my teams sane as the event is quickly happening and the competitive landscape is changing quickly. So make sure that you have things like retail readiness in order, you have inventory, your product detail pages and content look good, and your campaigns are launched and optimized. Moving to the top right, don't neglect the upper funnel. So in the lead in period, leverage those great tools at your disposal like streaming TV or DSP campaigns, potentially offsite DSP campaigns, to make sure that you are building brand awareness before the event to then re-engage them during the 2 days of and the weeks after the event. And then finally, I think I'm going to say it probably 100 times during this presentation today, but really use AMC and Stream, those really great data sources, to quickly learn how your customers are behaving and reacting to your products, so you have a better idea of what you can expect on the days of the event. During the 2 days of the event, the big show, we could all probably talk about 100 different recommendations here, but I've tried to distill it to 4 here. Number 1, shop the site. I think this is fairly obvious to everyone here with us today, but make sure you're reacting to the competitive landscape, seeing what the people in your category are doing, and making sure that you are reacting very quickly using features like Amazon's new beta, which is an artificial intelligence powered creative generator to actually launch things like a sponsored brands campaigns, which you could do in response to what you're seeing on the site. Pace your budgets fluidly. Make sure that you're monitoring your budget pacing every single hour, not 3 or 4 times a day, but we do recommend hourly, especially if you have a tech partner like Pacvue to help pace those for you and make sure that you are capturing the full amount of demand that exists during the event. Leverage that hourly data like Stream and Rapid Retail Analytics. Let Amazon's data streams do some of the heavy lifting for you, and make sure that you're optimizing based on hourly data versus daily data. And then finally, use cross-funnel learnings quickly. So use things that you've learned from upper funnel tactics or lower funnel tactics and vice versa to make sure that you are making quick decisions. Like, for example, if you saw that a certain DSP audience was performing very well and you did have that real-time data, you could quickly deploy an on-site sponsored display campaign using audience targeting to then re-engage those customers on-site once they've clicked through from your off-site DSP campaign. And then finally, lead out period here. I think this is one of my favorite recommendations or time periods to capture traffic and engage customers is number 1, capture that remaining demand. So many customers come to the site to see if they have a specific product in mind that is on deal or promotion. And if it is not on deal or promotion and they don't convert, there is still a significant halo effect in the weeks after the event in both terms of traffic, conversion, and demand. So make sure that you're not neglecting a time period when there's still a much elevated level of customers looking for your products. As you come out of the event period and into the lead out period, we recommend moving your budget or attention down the funnel. And what I mean by that is after you've built brand awareness from upper funnel tactics before and during the event, and you've brought customers into your audience segments or into your brand, make sure that you're then capturing them with sponsored brands and sponsored product campaigns on site. On the top right, re-engage customers. Display DSP campaigns are a super powerful tool to go capture customers who may have looked at your product during the event but not purchased, or if they purchased a highly consumable product and they're due for a reorder in the next week or 2. Some of those re-engagement strategies are extremely effective at making sure that you're bringing those customers back to your brand. And then finally, we always recommend doing a post-mortem to just really gather learnings from what happened during the event. Maybe there were some surprises. Hopefully there were not, with all of your great planning that you've done with the tips we've discussed previously, to make sure that you have that playbook ready to go for 2025 and beyond, or even, Cyber 5, Black Friday, Cyber Monday later this year, to make sure that you have a really strong plan in place based on the data specific to your brand and products, not a total category data set. The next 3 slides, we'll talk just a little bit more about the lead in versus lead out period based on how brands have different products and different tactics. So these recommendations today are fairly general. Wanted to get a little bit more specific on how brands that have different types of products can think about their strategies tailored based on type of product and the correlated customer experience. So really quickly here, for high ASP items, we tend to see customers come as a lead-in period is critically important here and really, really shop the site on the 2 days of the event. When I say higher ASP items, consumer electronics is one that comes to mind, where customers are really looking to save on those big ticket items. We do often see that they are holiday shopping, sometimes even in July. So we do see a pretty big spike here, but we do tend to see traffic trail off a little bit more quickly in the lead out period. So for higher ASP items, those bigger ticket items, we do see a higher importance on having a strong lead in strategy. Moving into low ASP items, these are items that also require a bit more of a heavier focus on the lead in strategy to build awareness for brands or products that customers may not associate with a traditional Prime Day or tentpole event. Some of those stock up or consumable items do tend to have a little bit more reliance on that lead in period. And then we also tend to see a sharper drop off in demand or conversion metrics for those products in the lead out period. So for this product segment, we really do recommend focusing a bit more on the lead in and then day of tactics. And then finally here, what we are calling add-on or complementary items. Things like if you are selling batteries and you know that toys are a hot ticket item, making sure that you have a really strong lead out focus, as customers maybe did not see your item on sale or promotion during the event, but are coming back to the site as part of that halo effect afterwards and are a really prime opportunity to engage and attract customers. All right, with just about 5 minutes left here, I'm going to wrap things up with just some general tools, tips, and tricks that advertisers can use both before, during, and after the event, and also just year-round to have the best possible success on Amazon. So first and foremost, I can't recommend enough, have your full funnel pre-event checklist completed at least 2 weeks before the event. So like Jeff mentioned at the top of the hour, and I'm sure we will hear the same thing from our other wonderful partners as part of the summit, make sure that you have things like budget plans fully in place with contingency plans to make sure you're able to react quickly. Determine what success looks like to you. For some advertisers, return on ad spend or ROAS may be the most important by far. For some other advertisers, impressions, clicks, and new to brand sales may be the most important. Make sure you have sufficient brand protection, as we know that competitor conquesting strategies can be very popular during these key drive periods, and make sure you have an ensuing targeting strategy to combat that. Moving to the bottom left here, review your historical data to make sure you know what products or keywords you can expect to perform well and have a tailored marketing or advertising strategy to correspond with that. Source updated or event-specific creatives specifically for ad types like sponsor brand or sponsor brand videos to make sure that you are surfacing the most engaging content possible and providing the best customer experience possible to hopefully lead to higher conversion metrics as well. And then finally, I can't really talk enough about AMC and stream data today. Make sure that you have an analysis plan before and after the event to really learn how you performed and what you can learn from that amazing customer behavior and engagement data to then continuously improve and tailor your strategy as you come out of a tentpole event. One quick thing that I has mentioned previously in this that is a really powerful tool is rapid retail analytics. So similar to how AMC or Amazon Marketing Cloud is hourly data for the advertising side, this is hourly data for the retail side. So we always say that you can have the best advertising strategy or plan in the world, but if you don't have retail readiness in place and you don't have inventory or strong retail fundamentals, you're not likely to see the highest level of success possible. So we really do recommend both before, during, and after leveraging this amazing rapid retail analytics hourly data to be tracking things like conversion, engagement, and inventory data, and then tailoring your advertising strategy to match. Next up is I think the thing I've talked about almost the most here is Amazon Stream data. This has been one of my personal favorite things that Amazon advertising team has rolled out in the past year or so. This is hourly advertising data all the way down to the campaign level that is extremely powerful data that ad tech partners like Pacvue do have the ability to plug into via automated API connection to create the tools and resources that operate in an automated way to do the heavy lifting for you and to be constantly reacting in real time to thousands or millions of data points to be programmatically optimizing and improving your campaigns, especially during a key drive period or a 2-day event like Prime Day. So we recommend, if you can, work with an ad tech partner who has any automated features powered by the Amazon Stream API. And if you're not working with an ad tech partner, totally fine. Still highly recommend to take advantage of this hourly data and then tailor your advertising strategy and your approach to match. And then last slide here, going to finish on a quick case study of a Pacvue partner leveraging Amazon Stream data during a key drive period. So this is a major brand in the CPG and multivitamin category. I'm sure we have some people that work in this space on the webinar or summit today and know how it's a hyper competitive category, and it can be tough to really break through on Amazon given the number of great brands in the space. So the problem here was campaigns were running out of budget early in the day in the lead-in period. They were missing out on some of those peak period shoppers, especially that second spike in the afternoon in the US time when customers are coming back to look at deals for a second time. And they really weren't able to have the visibility into granular advertising and targeting strategies to have the best possible results. Working with Pacvue and Pacvue's features that are powered by the Amazon Stream API and that wonderful hourly data, they were able to have pretty massive results with effectively just the click of a button within Pacvue to make all this do its own analysis and optimizations in the background while they focused on strategy. The results really speak for themselves. A 28% increase in ROAS, sales up over 500 basis points, and with no increase in budget, saw a 22% increase in impressions and 21% increase in conversion. So I promise this is not a shameless plug for Pacvue. This is really a plug for the wonderful data you have at your disposal with Amazon Stream and the hourly data to allow you to really react quickly and make sure that you're driving the best, most engaging customer experience possible during these really important key drive periods. Last slide here before I wrap up today and pass it off to my other partner here is a quick recap on just what we've talked about today. So when you're preparing for Prime Day, as we know it's quickly approaching, quick recap here, we recommend talking about it in a strategic and a tactical perspective. So a quick recap of what we've talked about from a strategic perspective. Make sure you're analyzing historical trends using AMC data to understand your full funnel impact. Plan with your client, over communicate, make sure that you have contingency plans in place. Align ahead of time on the full funnel tactics you want to use and consider testing a new tactic you haven't used before. And then make sure you have a strong lead in and lead out strategy, not just one for the 2 days of the event. From a tactical perspective, ramp up early, gradually, monitor those trends and KPIs. Use a budget calendar to really allow your budget to be automatically paced for you based on the parameters you provide. Work smarter, not harder with AMC data and AMC audiences, and then making sure that you're always observing really quickly in real time the changes in the competitive landscape using data like Rapid Retail Analytics and Amazon Stream. So that wraps it up for me today. I know I moved quickly here, but really appreciate everyone joining today. Hopefully this content was helpful for you in having a more successful Prime Day and beyond this year. And with that, I will turn it over back to Claire.